So let's have a conversation about the wide receiver two position over in the Chargers. So Lad McConkey came over last year and took this league by storm. Just absolutely lit up fantasy football podcasts and your lineups, and everybody was grabbing after him. And he was the fantasy darling of last season for these Chargers. Him and Herbert obviously had a gigantic, just a great chemistry all season long. With Keenan Allen gone, and now Keenan Allen is back on the Los Angeles Chargers on the tail end of what you essentially probably think is going to be his career. He signed a 1-year deal, I think, is what he signed to be there at least for another year. But you've got rookies. You've got Tre Harris in the receiving core as well, and then Andre Smith Lambert. But you still got Quinton Johnston. Now, Moonoff, the question here, though, is because you've got three, well, and you got Jalen Reagor, I guess, if you really wanted to toss him in the mix as well. But essentially, you've got a three-way battle now, or four-way, depending on if you think Keenan Allen is still going to play a gigantic role, which I think he will. However, I'm not sure I'm confident in him returning to the same glory that he had when he was there in the first place. But you've got these four receivers jockeying for a couple of different spots, and there's been drop troubles with Johnson over the course of the last couple of seasons. And now in practice, you're reading that there's some problems with drops from Quinton. And the same can be said for Tre Harris. So who are we trusting in this one? And are they even worth rostering at all, given that we know Justin Herbert is a gunslinger at quarterback and is probably going to throw for 6,000 yards. Okay, not 6,000. I exaggerate. A lot of yards this year, and somebody's got to catch those other than Ladd. So who does it?
Keenan Allen's back on this roster. I thought that signing earlier this week for the LA Chargers. I mean, could that guy be sneaky? Look, I know he's 33 years old and he's, dealt with hamstring and lower leg injuries over the, past couple seasons. But when this guy was with Justin Herbert, I mean, you just go down the target numbers. It was absolutely ridiculous. He was just walking into thousand reception yard seasons for this Los Angeles Chargers team. And even last year, right? Look, playing 15 games with the Chicago Bears, with the quarterback circus they were having there. Caleb Williams rookie year, he saw 121 targets and had 70 receptions in that season, 744 receiving yards. The thing I love about Keenan Allen here, Rod, is that he's going to get you touchdowns. He's a target machine in that red zone. He just finds ways. And I think just having that rapport with Justin Herbert, I think that's going to pay huge dividends in this passing games, because you got, like you mentioned, you have to pay attention to Lad McConkey of the season that he's coming off of. And you can blame defensive coordinators or defensive players for doing that. Is he going to repeat what he was able to do in his rookie season? It's definitely a possibility, but that opens up the chances for guys like Keenan Allen, who has been very, very consistent throughout his career. I know there was a couple years in there, 2022 and 2023 season, where he played a combined 23 games. But in those 13 games in 2023, he still had 150 targets and 108 receiving yards. I mean, we could have probably seen 180 plus, 190 plus target season if he had played in all 17 games for this Chargers team. So, not to drag it on too much, I think Keenan Allen may be the guy here. Quinton Johnston, again, you mentioned with the drops and things like that, makes you nervous. So again, if Keenan Allen's able to stay healthy here, I think that he's a very, very good option. And also, let's also keep our eyes on Will Dissly at the tight end. I know we're talking about wide receivers as well, but I think that he could emerge as maybe a 2A or 2B type of a target here for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and so if you look at the ADP for these guys, right, Tre Harris is going off at 140, wide receiver 55 in a standard 60 in a PPR, and then you've got Keenan Allen going off at 160 overall. So there's a lot of folks out there that are drafting Tre Harris over Keenan Allen, not really convinced that Keenan Allen is going to return to his former glory. However, I will say in a PPR, he is 57, wide receiver 57 to Tre Harris's 60. So I think they think that Keenan Allen's going to get more catches than is Harris, and Harris may get more yards out of those catches, because I don't know if Keenan Allen's the same deep threat that he used to be.
I would be curious to see that where the numbers lie after he got signed by the Chargers. I know we won't have that in front of us. Maybe for something for us to keep an eye on as we go week to week here, because I feel like that Keenan Allen ADP number may, start to go up a little bit, just based off of what I just mentioned for this Chargers team. And again, I could be wrong, but I think Tre Harris is also definitely a good option. So, he does have weapons around him, of course, does Justin Herbert is just now in this division, as we're talking about, can they take that next step and dethrone Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? That's what's going to be fun to watch as well.